Hey, man.
Hey, what's up?
Have you ever heard of Travis?
Yeah, actually. So there was a guy who worked at Subway when my mom was the manager there when I was like real young.
Yeah.
His name was Travis. He ended up marrying this girl named Nicole who also worked at Subway, but Travis became a vacuum salesman. He also got his pilot's license, so he took us up in his plane. Not his plane, he did the whole rent-a-plane thing. But that's the only Travis I know.
Interesting. No, that's not the Travis I'm talking about.
Okay, which Travis are you talking about? You're not talking about Travis?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm talking about Travis the chimpanzee.
That's what I'm talking about.
Same guy.
Same guy. He's a pilot, a vacuum salesman. Travis the chimpanzee?
Travis the chimpanzee.
Okay, who is Travis the chimpanzee?
It's a guy whose last name is the chimpanzee.
Stop it.
He's a wrestler.
Wait, are you serious?
No, he's a chimp.
Okay.
He's a real chimp.
Things I learned last night. TILLN it.
Hey, if you like things I learned last night, make sure you support us on Patreon. Doing that, we'll make sure that you can watch episodes ad-free. You can ask us questions about the episode or just about like us because we're weird and it's fun. So support us online. That's TILLN.com/join. That's JO lowercase LN.
I can't keep up with your bits. Okay, so a chimpanzee.
Yes, yeah.
Named Travis.
Yep. He was born October 21st, 1995 in Festus, Missouri. That's his natural habitat.
Okay.
Just kidding. He was born in like a zoo or something like that.
Was he born in Festus?
He was born in Festus, Missouri.
There's no zoo in Festus. Just so you know what kind of place Festus, Missouri is. Festus, Missouri is not a place that has a zoo. Festus, Missouri is a place that has a guy named Daryl who owns exotic animals. Okay,
Yeah.
That's where. So Travis the chimpanzee and names them things like Travis.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Okay, he was born in '95, October 21st.
Yep. And he was purchased shortly after by Jaron and Sandra Harold, who were two people who wanted a pet chimpanzee.
Okay.
So they purchased Travis.
I'm waiting for the hammer to drop on like what happens.
Oh yeah, he killed somebody.
Really?
He didn't actually kill somebody, but he pretty dang close to it. But we'll get there.
Okay.
So his parents, they moved him to Connecticut.
I don't like that. His parents. Okay.
They moved him to Connecticut, and he became like a local icon. They were
In Connecticut?
in Connecticut. Yeah, everybody in Connecticut loved Travis, and he was a very social chimp.
Okay.
And so he became literally like an icon in their city. And so he would, the police were really close friends with Travis. He would come take rides in the cruiser. They would drive by and they would stop and he would run out and open the back door and like sit down and just go on a ride. And then they'd drop him back off and he'd open the door, walk back out and go inside his house. Like he just loved
Bye,
the
Travis.
cops. Yeah, they'd be like, see you later, Travis. Big fan of the cops. He was known like talented in a lot of different things. They taught him to do like a lot of like it was almost like Travis was the child that they never had.
Right. That's why like people I think buy any kind of pet.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we can't be parents.
So let's
get a chimpanzee.
Let's get a chimpanzee. So he was
So this couple, what's their last name?
the Heralds.
The Heralds. Okay, so the Heralds, were they any kind of like, did they own exotic animals before? Were they any kind of like, they're not like, they don't have like a zoo or they don't have like kind of like, they're not
Yeah.
They just bought a chimpanzee.
They just bought a chimp
on Craigslist.
Yeah, they just bought a chimp.
And did they live in Connecticut before, or did they live in Missouri?
Yeah, they lived in
So
Connecticut.
they came from Connecticut to Missouri
Yep.
to pick up Travis the chimpanzee in
Yep.
their 2001 Dodge Caravan.
Yeah.
And then they drove Travis the chimpanzee back to Connecticut.
Yep. And he was a responsible part of the family. He could open doors.
Did chores.
Yeah, literally. He could open doors with keys. Like, he knew how to use a key and open a door. He could dress himself. He would water the plants. He fed the horses. He ate at the table with the family at night. He drank wine from a stemmed glass. He loved ice cream. He learned the schedule of the ice cream truck, and he knew when it was coming, and he would wait by the door and then would drive by, and he would let himself out and run out to the ice cream man to get ice cream. Like,
how do you charge the chimpanzee for ice cream? If you're the ice cream man, and a chimpanzee comes up to the window of the truck.
Look, Travis.
Do you charge him?
Travis, you have
Travis,
a long
you've
bill.
got 75 cents, but I need $1. And the chimpanzee's like, and you're like, they're loud animals. Okay, people are not gonna like that you did that in the microphone. Okay,
I put the microphone really far away.
really far away, or just kind of far away, because I'm not even wearing the headphones, and that hurt. But okay, so. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he would log on the computer to look at family pictures. He knew how to get on the computer and browse pictures of the family. He watched TV. He used the remote control. He brushed his teeth. Like,
how do you train?
He was a huge fan of
crazy.
baseball. He loved baseball.
Okay.
And he even drove. They let him drive on several occasions. They were like, "Hey, yeah, Travis,
Well,
you
I mean,
drive.
if the
Travis,
police
why
are
don't you
close.
drive?"
The police are just like, that car. That's a drunk driver over there.
Like,
Ran a stop sign.
Wait, that's Travis.
T-bone somebody. Travis,
Travis.
you goofball.
Yeah,
all right, you keep doing your thing, man. He's
Jerome-
just trying to find the ice cream truck.
Jerome and Harold
The
would
ice
go out.
cream. He drove the ice cream truck for a while. You know.
Jerome and Harold will go out, and Jerome will be like, Sandra, you gotta drive. I drank too much tonight. She'd be like, well, I thought you were driving. I drank too much.
And then Travis is like, I thought you guys were driving. I drank too much because he drank wine out of a stick glass. And Travis is like, I guess I'll drive still.
And Travis is like, I'll drive.
And they're
I
like,
can't
wait a
get
minute, is
DUI.
he? Am I drunk? Or
I'm
is
a
he,
chip.
Is he talking right now?
But yeah, Sandra loved Travis. She pampered him, and she took like crazy good care of him. Bought him all this stuff, like a spoiled brat shrimp. But he became almost famous. He started making all these.
Yeah, he's in those like what's the fake orange juice?
Tang.
Tang. He's the Tang chimpanzee.
The Tang
right?
chimp. No, but he was in
Airbud.
several commercials for Pepsi and Old Navy. He even made appearances on Maury, the Man Show, and he was in a pilot for a TV show that.
That's
features
why
Cheryl
you
Crow.
get an animal like that, though, is because so you train an animal so that it can be in movies because you can make a lot of money from that.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, he started making a lot of appearances. Was a local legend. Everybody loved him. But he was a chimp.
Right.
A
Still a wild animal.
A wild animal. And so he had a couple
episodes.
A couple moments.
Okay.
There was one moment where some pedestrian saw the family, the Harolds, drive by in their car, and the pedestrian threw something towards the chimp in the car, just kind of like messing with the chimp. Like, it's probably some high schooler who thought it was funny.
Right.
And the chimp jumps out of the car and starts chasing him around the car. It's like chasing this kid because he was like just like, hey, not cool.
Yeah.
And the chimp.
And they're like strong.
They're big. He was 200 pounds. Like, I mean, this is
a full-grown chimpanzee.
Borderline gorilla. Like, literally borderline gorilla.
Yeah.
And so after that event, the kid, nobody got hurt. The police were able to arrive, and they were able to finally coax him back into the car and like end it safely.
They're like, you know us, Travis.
Hey,
It's
like,
fine.
Travis, it's us. And he's like, oh yeah, Officer Dan.
Not to be confused with Pasta Dan. Same person, actually.
He's not a lot of money going around Connecticut right now. He had to take up a couple
Pasta
jobs.
Dan.
I'm Pasta Dan. And then we pull up on the scene of a crime. He's like, it's me, Officer Dan.
He announces himself when he gets there. He steps out of the car, pulls someone over, steps out. He goes, "It's just Officer Dan." And they're like, "Oh, okay, great."
The police chief's like
I imagine this is I know that it's not, but I imagine their police car is one of those ones that just has one singular light above it, you know?
And it's like it's magnetic. He has to put it up whenever he starts pulling.
Yeah. He takes it down, or he puts up the Antonio's Italian delivery. Right? He's like, "I'm Pastor Dan."
Pastor Dan. The police chief pulls him in his office. He's like, "Look, Dan, you have to stop announcing you're there when you get to the scene of the crime. Yeah. It blows your cover."
No, look.
And also,
here's the thing, Stephen. You keep saying Pastor Dan and Officer Dan. Your name is Stephen. You're not even a Dan.
Dan's not even your middle name. I don't know where you got it.
Who? Okay, how many people are middle name Dan? Daniel, maybe, but how many people are going by a shortened version of their middle name?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Hey, if you watch this episode and you see us drinking out of these mugs and you're like, "I want to drink out of those mugs while I watch this episode," great news. You can purchase these at TILLN.com/merch. We've got these mugs, some shirts. We're going to put new designs out pretty often, so please keep up with that. And all that money goes to help support this podcast and make it better.
Make it better, yeah. Also, if you subscribe on Patreon, you can find out what we put in our mugs every week.
Yeah, it's just
air.
We're fake drinking.
So Connecticut actually passed a law after this event, making it harder for people to own exotic pets. You had to get permits to do it. Yep. But the Heralds were grandfathered in because they already had Travis.
You know what?
Everybody loved Travis.
Do you remember when the whole Ohio thing happened, where the guy just kind of went crazy and let all of his 22 wild animals out? It was in the Tiger King documentary. They touched on it. Do you remember that? There was a guy who just I don't know if he committed suicide or not. I don't remember. I feel like he did, but he just let all of his animals loose. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
He had 22 tigers and lions and stuff. He opened all their cages, all their stuff, just let them loose in Ohio. And then Ohio cracked down on exotic ownership. So here's the thing. My cousins, it is my mom's first cousin. So her first cousin? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe her second cousin? I don't know how it all works.
Yeah,
We're cousins.
We're all cousins.
They have a farm where they have tigers, they have wolves, they've got a chimpanzee, have I ever told about that? In Ohio? I grew up going over there. They had straight up reindeer. They've got
Weird.
And they got kangaroos. They've got a whole zoo in their yard. And they would be on Letterman and Jay Leno. They would take the animals and go do they're the people who if you're looking for a porcupine to be on your late night show, they'll bring one. They're those people, right? If you can't afford to get the Irwins. Right? So for real though, and then what happened, Ohio cracked down on those laws and they came and took some of their animals and put them in state custody.
Interesting.
And this is what my cousins were fighting on is hey, we've got the resources and the funding and the caretakers to take care of these animals. You're putting them in state custody at these farms that are overrun that they don't have. And so some of their animals died in state custody because the state custody farms didn't have the resources or staff to take care of them. Wow. And they were we're why are you not letting us take care of the animals where we can keep them alive?
Wow.
It was wild. It was a whole huge thing because I remember that event was what did it. So and that's when states started really cracking down on exotic animal ownership.
When was that?
That was 2008. I want to say kind of late 2000s.
Okay, interesting. That's about the same time. Eventually, Travis, being a wild animal.
I used to tell that story when I was growing up because this is real. Stump Hill Farm. I used to tell that story with friends growing up, and they thought that I was one of those kids that was lying about stuff.
I'm like, yeah,
I'm just saying, I'm still bitter about it.
You're like, it's a true story.
Yeah, and it's dude, just because I lied about some other things
doesn't mean I'm lying about this one. Oh gosh.
Just because I lied about John Elway being my uncle
Doesn't mean he's not my cousin.
Doesn't mean he's not my third cousin.
Uncle just sounded better, okay? So in 2009, February 16, 2009, Travis did what most exotic animals end up doing when they are kept in custody, and he just flipped. Sandra Harold's friend, Charla Nash, had come over. They were hanging out, and they were trying to get the chimp back into the house, and Travis just snapped and started attacking Charla. Like brutally attacking her.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that Sandra, the one who like was like loved Travis, like was grabbing shovels and like trying to beat him. So like it was like a serious attack type of situation where
he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so she calls the cops. The cops show up, when the cops get there, he comes outside and he's like covered in blood.
Yeah.
And he's like screaming and yelling, and he storms and runs towards the police car and is trying to open the door like he normally does, but they have it locked. And so he starts smashing. He smashes the mirrors off the door and comes around to the officer side, and he gets the officer side, the driver's side door open, and so then the police officers shot and killed him there.
Yeah.
And so they were investigating what led to it. And they think that what happened was Nash had been over there. Charla Nash had been over there dozens, if not more, times, and so he knew her. But she had
what kind of injuries does she have? Does she look like
very, very significant?
Yeah.
She lost both her hands, her nose, her eyes, her lips, most of her bone structure in her face.
Yep.
She had severe brain tissue injuries.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Very, very bad.
Yeah.
And then it was so bad that most of the doctors that treated her needed counseling after. Most of the doctors went into counseling after treating her because that's how bad it was. They valued. They valued their injuries and the cost of her injuries. I think it was, $10 million.
Jeez.
So very, very serious injuries.
Yeah.
And they were investigating what led to this. They think it was because she had that new haircut, so he didn't recognize her. And then to try to get him back in the house, he had a Tickle Me Elmo, and so she was like trying to lure him in with the Tickle Me Elmo. He's holding it, and so he took it as a threat, and he just went off on her. He's like, that's a stranger I don't know. She's got my stuff, and so he just attacked her. So this whole event seriously messed with Sandra, obviously, because she had stabbed him. She had done all this stuff, and she said it was just super difficult for her to do all of that. And then obviously to have her friend be the one that was attacked like that. She survived, but it was a big deal. Eventually,
it's a life-changing thing.
Absolutely. I mean, she's blind. She lost limbs, and so she underwent some crazy surgeries. It's crazy to see her in interviews today. She was on Oprah. She's been on all sorts of different TV shows.
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and so she had when she was on Oprah,
she had lady.
No.
Oh no. Oh okay.
No.
This is another one then.
Yeah, when she was on Oprah, she had this veil over her face, so you couldn't see her.
Yeah.
But then later on in later interviews, after different surgeries, reconstruction surgeries, she stopped wearing that veil. And it was she has a pretty good sense of humor in a couple different interviews. People would be like, Charlotte, you look great. And she'd be like, I've had some work done. And she said that a few different times. That's her favorite bit, which is pretty funny. So she's a really good sport about it. But she is now a big proponent of legislation for exotic animals because obviously of not only owning them because obviously it affected her really bad.
So are they still friends?
Well, Sandra passed away in 2010, and her husband Jaron had died. 6
were they
years
older?
Before that. Yeah, Sandra was 70 at the time.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, of the attack. So, so they Jerome wasn't alive when it happened. Sandra died a year later, 1 year after the event. So, but yeah, so now they're now
it's pretty traumatic. Yeah,
absolutely. And so now that Charlotte's in this big push against it because Charlotte knew him for forever, and so her big thing is it can be okay for a really long time,
right?
And they can be a normal part. He was a normal part of their neighborhood. Everybody loved Travis the chimp. Even the cops who were the ones that ended up killing him, that was tough for them because they all loved Travis the chimp. But it just takes one weird moment. You got to remember they're wild animals, and it just takes one weird moment for things to flip and things to go crazy. But one of the things that's really interesting to me, and so this is a connection. I found this while I was looking in this story. They were talking about how intelligent Travis was, all the different things that he did throughout his life. Like, I mean, he could open doors with keys. Like he loved baseball. Like all this different stuff. That's like, he's borderline human. Like it's like you have a personality and you like different things. And so while I was looking into this, somebody had mentioned apparently there's this group of biologists that believe that there's a few subspecies of monkeys and chimps that are entering their own stone age, because they are becoming more intelligent and using stone tools. And so they discovered it's more than just there's a lot of animals that will use like rocks to break things open, to like break things or get into different food.
Making the tool and then saving it and reusing it later.
Yeah, so what they're doing, one of the biggest pieces from humanity's Stone Age is they would chip away the rocks with other rocks to make them sharper, so that way they could use them to get into certain different fruits or use them as weapons for meat, and that allowed them to get more resources, which then allowed eventually people to become smarter and smarter. And what some biologists are noticing is that capuchin monkeys and a couple other subspecies of chimps have started doing this, where they're taking tools and they're creating tools out of these stones and using them to extract more resources from things. And it's created this new group of archaeologists that are searching for chimpanzee and monkey tools, and they said that this community of the capuchin monkeys, they have been doing this for 3,000 years. They found their tools going back 3,000 years of them creating these different tools, and so obviously there's a long way to go for them to develop and go different ways. But they are looking at it. They're like, theoretically,
here's where it spans out
to. They keep going. They could go into a Bronze Age, Iron Age, etc., down to the same type of route that we went down, and become intelligent. There's other people.
I don't know. Let's ask Ken Ham about it.
There's others who are like yeah, it's bogus. There's others who are just it's just whatever. But it's an interesting.
What does
idea.
Christianity Today say about it?
I don't know if Christianity Today has covered it, but we should send it on to them and see what they have to say, because
see if Relevant Magazine will do an article.
Relevant might. The liturgists probably already have talked about it.
Yeah. And they're like, honestly, we're all the same.
Honestly, like, we're all monkeys.
I wonder what their theology is.
I wonder what they think about the Lord.
Have you seen what's one of my favorite Bill Burr bits is like when they taught the gorillas sign language. And he's just like, it's really beautiful to watch. Like, they're asking like this gorilla, like, what's your deepest regret in life and all this stuff. And she's able to respond like, I wish that I was a mother, like all this stuff. He goes, and no one thought to be like, do you like that we keep you in a cage? No one even thought really to be funny. Like, hey, at 2 a.m., pull this lever and like open this little crate and just walk out this way. Like, this is how to get out.
That's good. But yeah, so some people are like, even if they are in this Stone Age, they can't develop much past this, because we are taking all the possible resource, and we're encroaching on their habitat, so they can't last long enough for them to develop to go into it to these next stages. But it's still very interesting to see a lot of them too have learned how to use the tools that we use.
Yeah.
So they
I was going to say, a lot of them have figured out how to use iPhones.
Yep.
And so
they've got TikToks.
Yeah, their dance moves are better, honestly.
Yeah, they're way better. Have you see those videos from like India where the monkeys are like terrorizing people?
Oh yeah,
taking
their
stuff, or like what was that one a couple months ago where he took that kid's motorcycle? Where he like ran out of nowhere and like drop kicked the kid off the motorcycle and just rode away on it. Like, they're pretty funny.
Well, but that's the thing though, is that there are people who are training animals how to steal things.
Yeah, to do crime for them. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what's the morality of that?
How do you prosecute that, you know?
Yeah, this chip's gonna serve 4 years in prison.
All right. Anything else on it?
Yeah, there's this subgroup of orangutans in Arkansas that have been known to have fiddle-offs.
Hey, thanks so much for watching Things I Learned Last Night. If you like that, there are more episodes you can watch, or you can watch some highlights, but please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode in the future.